All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and also to their elders, the men that taught them. I pray the Lord have peace, blessings, and mercy upon the households of the hopeful elect. This is the brother Shema One from the Great Millstone Houston Church. And today I want to go into a lesson talking about the underdog events that we read about in the scriptures, and just thinking about how we have these accounts to read about to help us in the days that we're in. So, Lord willing, I'm going to get right into it, and I pray this lesson be edifying. So reading Exodus, the 14th chapter, we have a reading assignment, where we're reading the book of Exodus, but in the 14th chapter, something that stood out to me was the Lord already, displayed his wonderful works, by doing what he said he was going to do, by delivering us out of the hands of the Egyptians. So mind you, Egypt already got hit with the 10 plagues, and everything the Lord said he was going to do, he did it. But now it's to the point where the Lord is stirring something up again. And really it boils down to just believing in what the Lord says from the beginning, regardless of what the circumstances may look like. Okay, because now you have the account where the Pharaoh came back and, pursued the Israelites and it struck fear in us. Matter of fact, we'll just read a little bit. We'll read a little bit of it, but yeah, let's just read it. I was trying to avoid reading the whole chapter, but we'll probably get at least to verse 15. So yeah, let's just read it. And I pray this lesson be edifying. But thinking about the underdog events, and comparing it to how it's going to be in the days that we're in. Okay, we don't have the physical ability or the might of having, the army or weapons or whatever you need to defend you that could help. All right. But understanding our defense is in the Lord. That's what the Lord gave unto us. OK, we're the Israelites, and our main defense is having the name of the Lord. OK, and it's going to be revealed in the days that we're in. People are going to see how powerful the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is. And that's saying that through faith. Exodus chapter 14:1. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they turn and encamp before Pihahirath, between Migdol and the sea, over against Baal-Zephon. Before it shall ye encamp by the sea." So the Lord already has it set up that we're going to be encamped by the sea. Surrounded by water, where are you going to go? So verse 3 says, "For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land. The wilderness hath shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them. And I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord." And they did so. So going back to verse 3, this is where Pharaoh had it twisted. It says, "For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, the wilderness hath shut them in." That's just like the days that we're going to be in, or the days like it is now. Put it like this: we're defenseless, as the scriptures say in Isaiah 41. I believe it's the 41 chapter, the 41st chapter, how it talks about, we're likened unto a worm, being invulnerable and defenseless. Okay, so the same thing was in the mind of Pharaoh. Due to the circumstances, we seem like an easy target. And that's where he messed up, because it's an account that I just thought about. Real quick, not to get off topic, but just another example. of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah, the God of Israel. First, I found it. 1 Kings chapter 20. 1 Kings 20, and we'll start at verse 20. Just going into account of how Pharaoh thought, based off of the circumstances, we're in the wilderness, we have nowhere to go, so we'll be easily overtaken. Let's look at this. 1 Kings chapter 20 and verse 20. It says, "And they slew everyone his man, and the Syrians fled, and Israel pursued them. And Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, escaped on an horse with the horsemen." Now, mind you, before this took place, the king of Syria, Ben-Hadad, was speaking to Ahab, sending messages to Ahab, basically telling him, everything he has, he was going to take. Then Ahab got counsel, and the men who gave him counsel, they said, "Don't consent, don't hearken unto him or listen to him." So, long story short, the king of Syria, set up and sent out men to come against the Israelites. So now coming to the point where Israel prevailed and was able to defend themselves. All right. So now you got the Syrians fled. The Syrians are fleeing now. So now verse 21, it says, "And the king of Israel went out and smote the horses and chariots and slew the Syrians with a great slaughter. And the prophet came to the king of Israel and said unto him, Go, strengthen thyself, and mark, and see what thou doest. For at the return of the year, the king of Syria will come up against thee." So the king of Syria is going to come back, bigger and badder, so to speak. Verse 23, "And the servants of the king of Syria said unto him, Their gods are the gods of the hills." This is what it made me think about in Exodus chapter 14 and verse 3. How it says, "They are entangled in the land. The wilderness has shut them in." How Pharaoh thought that in his heart. It made me think about this. 1 Kings 20 and 23. "And the servants of the king of Syria said unto him, Their gods are the gods of the hills. Therefore they were stronger than we. But let us fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they." That's where they done messed up, because they underestimate the power of the Lord. All right. But let's keep reading verse 24. It says, and this is the thing that you don't see. This is one of the things where you have to believe, man. Okay, for just like Pharaoh to say what he said based off of the circumstances, that's what it seems like. But he don't know the Lord. Just like based off the circumstances, this nigga think that the only reason why they won is because we fought them in the hills, and their God is the God of the hills. So let's take them out of their strength. So where we'll have the advantage, or where it will be fair game, but it's never fair game dealing with the Lord. We always got the advantage. All right. And saying that through what's written in these scriptures, it shows you time after time that those that put their faith and trust in the Lord have the advantage, regardless of the situation. All right. But verse 24, 1 Kings 20 and 24, "And do this, and do this thing, take the kings away, every man out of his place, and put captains in their rooms, and number thee an army like the army that thou hast lost, horse for horse and chariot for chariot, and we will fight against them in the plain, and surely we will be stronger than they. And they hearkened unto their voice and did so." So they leveled up, and they came back with a plan, thinking that the results are going to be different. But mind you, what he said in verse 23, that's where he messed up, putting Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai in a box. Okay. Hey, speaking loosely on our God, on our power. So it says, verse 26, 1 Kings 20 and 26, "And it came to pass at the return of the year that Ben-Hadad numbered the Syrians and went up to Apec to fight against Israel. And the children of Israel were numbered and were all present and went against them. And the children of Israel pitched before them like two little flocks of kids. But the Syrians filled the country. So going you another underdog situation, another underdog event. Okay, we're outnumbered. They got a plan, and they set on, overtaking us. Okay, so it said we were like two little flocks of kids compared to how they filled the land. So the numbers are, they have the upper hand when it comes to numbers. Verse 28. And there came a man of God and spake unto the king of Israel and said, Thus saith the Lord, because the Syrians have said, the Lord Yahweh is God of the hills, but he is not, but he is not God of the valleys. Therefore will I deliver all this great multitude into thine hand, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. And you could keep reading to see what happened, but that's where they messed up. Speaking loosely and speaking against the true God of the living, or the true God of the heavens and the earth. All right. The living power, the true living power. And that's who we serve. Okay. When we have faith in his name and in his son's name. So just getting that account, because the same thing with Pharaoh in Exodus chapter 14 and verse 3. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, the wilderness has shut them in. Mind you, Moses already told Pharaoh what it was, time after time, how the Lord said, let my people go. The Lord told Moses what to say, and Moses and Aaron told Pharaoh what the Lord was going to do. So mind you, the Lord made Pharaoh's heart, he hardened his heart once more. But this one is different, okay, because now we're actually on the run, and now it's like, damn, the Lord did all of these things just to lead us here at this point. That's why going back to the beginning, where is that written? Hold up, let me find it. Not forgetting or taking lightly what the Lord says when he says it. Right here from the very jump, Exodus 3 and verse 7. I'll start at 6, what the Lord told Moses. Exodus 3 and 6, it says, Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. Verse 7, it says, And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. Verse 8, And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. The Lord said what he was going to do. The Lord said he was going to deliver us out of the hands of the Egyptians, and also bring us to a land flowing with milk and honey, bringing us to the land of Canaan. Okay? So, mind you, whenever Pharaoh came up and pursued us, we got to go to the land of Canaan. So that's what, our mind should have been on. And just using this for an example, because just like, put it like this, the Lord was dealing with Moses. The Lord told Moses what he was going to do. The Lord told Moses that he was going to deliver him, even whenever the Egyptians came up against them, okay, being against the sea. But the Lord already had it played out what he was going to do, and we just have to believe in his words, all right, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of whenever, things, don't seem like they're going according to the Lord's plan. That's why the scriptures say, let me get this real quick. Let me see. Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 8, it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." So we can never, put a cap on the things that the Lord does. We just got to believe in what he says. All right. Because this was, this could have been like one of them situations that catch you off guard, but you still have to listen and believe in what the Lord says from the jump, man. All right. But let's keep reading. Exodus chapter 14 and verse, let's pick up at verse 4. It says, "And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he will follow after them, and I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his host, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord." And they did so. Verse 5, "And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us?" Verse 6, "And he made ready his chariot and took his people with him, and he about 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt, and captains over every one of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel, and the children of Israel went out with a high hand." Now, mind you, right now, it's good for the nation of Israel right now. It says we just went out with a high hand. Hey, we left with substance. We just seen how the Lord plagued them. All right. Israel is in, a different type of spirit right now. The Lord just displayed an act that was never done before. After he sent that death angel, and it said there wasn't a cry in Egypt heard like that never before, nor one house that wasn't untouched. So the Lord just displayed what he would do. All right. Then we left with substance. So with all that happening now, verse 9, it says, "But the Egyptians pursued after them all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea beside Piharoth, by Piharoth, before Baal-Zephon." And mind you, the Lord already stirred this up, as it said in verse 4. "And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them." So the Lord already has Pharaoh pursuing them. This is the Lord's doing. That's why whenever, things could seem to be, against us, really it could be the Lord just showing how he's going to display his power. All right. Which is going to increase faith and just verify if we have faith and trust in the Lord from the jump. So verse 10, Exodus 14 and 10, it says, "And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, saying, And they said unto Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt?" So mind you, and that's what fear does. Fear does that. Hold on, let me go here. Fear does that. Whenever, fear creeps in, it could allow you to be faint-hearted. And the scriptures tell us, woe to the faint-hearted. Because now, mind you, it said they were sore afraid. Now, they're coming at Moses again. Okay, with doubt. Talking about, you took us out here to die. After the Lord already did all of these great, wonderful acts, for our sakes and our benefit. Now another rough patch came up, which it was scary. But just like the Lord already showed how he got down before, that should have been examples to look back at. And just like the days we're in, it's not going to be light. but it shows you the amount of faith that we're going to have in the Lord. It has to be like that. All right. Not getting, troubled at what things may seem to be and what it looks like, from our perception. We got to go based off the words of the Lord. All right. But verse 12, I'll read this. It says, so Israel complaining, and talking shit. It says, is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. So that's the spirit that Israel is in now. All right. After it said we already just, walked out of Egypt in high hand. But now, that quick, whenever something, offensive or something that looked like a threat or something that wasn't, quote unquote, this wasn't supposed to happen, and this, didn't go by plan, so to speak. But it showed you this is what the Lord allowed to happen. The Lord made Pharaoh pursue them, just to test. This is a part of the test. But it said they were so afraid, and it moved them to speak, with a faint heart and doubt. But let me read this real quick. This is Ecclesiasticus, Sirach chapter 2 in verse 12. Verse 13, it says, woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? All right, and that's important, to think about whenever moments, for instance, moments like this, whenever that took place, having a faint heart wasn't the way to go, but the Lord allows us to read about these accounts. So now, we can equip ourselves and apply these scriptures. But let's go back. Exodus 14 in verse 13, it says, and Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And mind you, the Lord revealed unto Moses the things that he was going to do, showing you the upper hand that Moses had because he had faith in the Lord. All right. Moses had faith in the Lord. Moses was told about what the Lord was going to do, and Moses believed in it, regardless of what, it looked like. So verse 15, and the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. So mind you, don't get scared now, just keep going. And mind you, you're walking in the direction, to a big body of water. There's nowhere to go. That's what it seems like. But the Lord already told Moses what it was going to be. All right, we still got to go, to the land flowing with milk and honey and so on and so forth. And the Lord was going to, get his honor by how he was going to judge Pharaoh and the Egyptians. So with that being said, let's get a few precepts and just focusing on the underdog event. It looked like, Pharaoh and the Egyptians would have came and, got busy and put us to death or whatever. But the Lord didn't allow that to happen. The Lord was showing that he has the control and the power. All right. But let me read this. This is Isaiah 41 in verse 8. It says, but thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. And this is, these are scriptures that, we meditate in the days that we meditate upon in the days that we're in. Just like, dealing with the Israelites, whenever they were being pursued after Pharaoh, hey, they got faint-hearted. They started doubting, man. They were sore afraid, and that fear took over. But we have scriptures like these to read where the Lord tells us, fear not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed. All right, so we have to really believe that the Lord is going to be with us. Although we could be outnumbered, although it could seem like the odds are against us, but truly the Lord always deals with the underdog story. It's always been like this throughout the scriptures. The Lord deals with the little in number. Okay, the Lord deals with the ones that don't have the mighty defense, on the outside, coming against people that do have the power and authority. Okay, the Lord always shows you that, nope, hey, he delivers those that really put their trust in the Lord, all right, and not their strength or their trust in, the strength of anything tangible. Okay, like the scriptures talk about putting your trust in horses and chariots. We'll get that next, Lord willing. But let's keep reading. Isaiah chapter 41 and verse 11, it says, behold, all they that were increased against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. So those that come at us, those that try to come against us, they're not going to prevail. They're going to perish. Thou shalt seek them and shalt not find them. Even them that contended with thee, they that war against thee shall be as nothing and as a thing of naught. Verse 13, for I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Verse 14, here it is, what I quoted earlier. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. So that's what we have to have faith in. The Lord showed us what he was going to do. Even though Israel started doubting, okay, and they lost faith and they allowed that fear to overtake them, hey, the Lord still delivered them. But, paying attention to this example of what not to do. Don't act like those that, turned against, Moses and basically casting off all of the words that he was saying prior. All right. Whenever shit gets shaky, we have to understand the Lord is still going to be with us. So all of the doubt and the talking shit and coming up against, having faith in the Lord, that can't happen. That cannot happen. This is an example to pay attention to. All right. Because those that, put it like this, in the days that we're in, if you have the type of spirit that the Israelites had whenever Pharaoh pursued them, you're not going to make it. The scriptures say the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. That's a lack of faith. But we just read how the Lord was going to help us and deliver us and redeem us. Although we're considered a worm, defenseless, vulnerable, okay, the odds are against us. The Lord said he was going to deliver us, just like he delivered us back then. The Lord is the one who does the delivering. It's not of ourselves. Let's get another one. I'm going to read that in the NLT. Let's see. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 30. I'm going to read this in the NLT. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 30 and 31. In the NLT, it says, no human wisdom or understanding or plan can stand against the Lord. Okay, so no matter what the odds may seem like, no matter what, the enemy tries to come up with to come against us, it says no human wisdom or understanding or plan can stand against the Lord. The horse is prepared for the day of battle,